It's Mr. Horton from the Western Center Academy back again with another video, this time about how to take a general area of interest and turn it into a variety of science fair project topics. So today's area of interest is going to be mycorrhizal fungi, or mushrooms are a good example of those. Mycorrhizal fungi are fungi that grow underground. They can grow as a part of the plant root and be called arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or just outside of the root where they're often called ectomycorrhizal fungi. The relationship between the fungus and the plant is often mutualistic, which means that the plant provides organic molecules and sugars to the fungi, and the fungi provide water and minerals to the plants. The networks of mycelium, which are the strands that the fungi put out underground, also connect the plant so that they communicate and share resources such as water and nutrients. The fungi also help to decompose organic material in the soil. Without decomposing this way, many organic compounds would decompose into methane, a very powerful greenhouse gas. When these fungi perform their tasks, they're doing two very important things. First, they're feeding the plant, and second, they're taking carbon out of the atmosphere and putting it underground, which is called carbon sequestration. It's been said that supporting mycorrhizal fungi on farms can quadruple the amount of crop that can be reaped from the same amount of land. That's really important and valuable. And those fungi would also be reducing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere at the same time. Some questions that could be asked about this are, how do you increase the mycorrhizal fungi in the soil? Do fertilizers and pesticides harm mycorrhizal fungi? How could you measure the carbon biomass that the fungi remove from the air and put underground? Could you make vertical mycorrhizal fungi farms just to remove carbon from the air? Then could that enriched soil be used to grow plants without releasing that carbon back into the air? Can mycorrhizal fungi be used to protect plants during a drought? How could you demonstrate that? Can mycorrhizal fungi help grow plants in salty soil? How salty would be too much salt for the mycorrhizal fungi? And would this increase the land area where we could grow farms? Mycorrhizal fungi have been shown to protect plants that are grown in soil with high levels of heavy metals. Do the fungi take up those metals? If they do, can they be used as an environmentally friendly way to mine metals from the soil or clean up toxic spills? Can you show a mycelium network working by growing plants in two separate pots connected by a tube of soil? One plant gets all the nutrients that it needs and the other does not. And then can you show them sharing nutrients through the mycelium network that will grow through that tube of soil? Each one of those questions could probably be turned into a science fair project topic. In the description for this video, I'll put a bunch of links to the information where I got the questions and the stories above. Here's some more mushroom and fungus ideas for science fair projects. It's said that fungi grow huge networks of underground connections. One documentary I read said every footstep that you take in a forest, there are 300 miles of mycelium network under that one footprint. Fungi can reproduce sexually or asexually through spores, budding, fragmentation, or sexual reproduction. How could you determine which way a fungal network reproduced to exist the way that it does? Could you use DNA barcoding to determine this? The first three methods of reproduction would result in identical genetics in the offspring. Can you use this to measure gene flow and/or genetic drift? Biorad sells a kit where you can do DNA barcoding for a fungus, and I'll put that link in the description as well. The kit appears to be done where you extract, purify, and amplify the DNA, and then you send it off to Biorad for the DNA barcoding, and they send that data back to you. Oyster mushrooms have been observed to absorb oil and produce chemicals that can break down petroleum products. In the description, there's a link to a fungi.com page where they're researching using fungi to clean up oil spills. It has sections called What We Know and What We Don't Know. The What We Don't Know section would be a great source of topics for a science fair project. Oyster mushroom kits can be purchased on Amazon, and I'll put that link in the description as well. In the documentary Fantastic Fungi, that I'll put a link to a clip in the description, it said that with every breath you take, you breathe in 10 fungal spores, which are like the seeds of a fungus. How can you identify which fungal spores are in the air? Can you see them under the microscope? Could you DNA barcode them? Does it change throughout the year? Each of those are questions that could be turned into a science fair project topic. So here are some cool fungi projects that probably wouldn't count as science projects, but they could be a really fun hobby for those people who are really interested in this topic. But because they're not testing a hypothesis or collecting data or drawing conclusions, they're just doing cool things, you probably could not submit these for a science fair. Could you make a time-lapse video of mushrooms growing? There's an example right here in the video. They're beautiful and interesting. Are there questions you could ask about your time-lapse video that could turn it into a science project? Maybe. Do you notice things in your video that you wonder about and you could study them as part of a science project? I notice in this video about halfway through, like a little umbrella falls down halfway up the stalk. What does that umbrella structure do? Does it keep insects from climbing up the stalk? Could you answer that question? That could be a science fair project topic. How many mushrooms can you identify and photograph in your region? How many are native, invasive, threatened, endangered? How can you get those photographs out to the public to increase awareness and appreciation of fungi? Some mushrooms glow under a black light. You can see a picture of it here. Go on a mushroom hunt in your backyard or your neighborhood or a nearby forest and search for mushrooms with an ultraviolet flashlight. A link to a video showing mushrooms under a black light is in the description, and UV flashlights are really inexpensive on Amazon. So those are numerous examples of how you can take one subject, mycorrhizal fungi, and turn them into numerous science fair project topics. So that's it for this episode. Come back again to see some more shortly. And Western Center Academy students, if you're interested in this topic and you have questions, come see me up in the office. All right, see you next time.